California, there's a penal code section 415, which is essentially disturbing the peace, and it's got three subparts that here again police officers frequently employ to harass or badger or punish you for whatever slights they may feel you've committed against them. The three parts of the statute are that prohibits fighting in public. Obviously, if you get into a scrape or a physical brawl with somebody, that's going to violate the law. They can say that you were fighting with people, and it's their word against yours if the victim that they claim you were fighting with disappears. The second part of the statute has to do with making willfully offensive loud noises. You have to maliciously create sufficient noise to disturb your neighbors, and of course there needs to be a victim to that. And a police officer cannot himself be the victim of that offensive noise because case law in California holds that to be true. They can't arrest you because somebody called in and says you're making too much noise at your house or at your party or somewhere else that you may be, without that victim. The last part of the statute is the interesting part of the statute. That's where you are prohibited, all of us are prohibited, from using offensive words that are likely to cause a violent reaction by another person. And that essentially is very subjective. Profanity might be that, but only if the officer also suggests or writes that whatever you were saying to another person, provoking him to fight, was so outrageous, so offensive. For example, using the N-word or some other racial epithet that might inflame another party to violence, although that in the law would never permit a person to resort to violence or striking you. But that is what's prohibited, and otherwise, without any number of words that could be said that could be thought of rude or offensive, don't violate the statute unless they're such that under the operative circumstances, they're going to cause somebody, not the police officer, to lash back or lash out over what comes out of your mouth. Claim to be the witnesses to this, or perhaps even the victims if they can turn themselves into it. I've seen where they turn themselves into victim by claiming you take a fighting stance, hold your feet apart, clench your fists, raise them up, get angry, curse at them a lot. This is the standard MO for a 415-3 that they tried to foist onto prosecutors, and if it gets that far, to juries. And that's also true in many cases under the fighting statute. You don't actually have to hit somebody to be in violation of the fighting subsection. You just got to get ready to fight.